The last weekend of February 2026 will forever be etched in the memories of millions, as a historic blizzard swept across the eastern seaboard, transforming the familiar into the extraordinary almost overnight. The storm's arrival was swift and relentless, paralyzing entire cities and towns, from Pennsylvania all the way up to Maine. Over 40 million people found themselves at the mercy of nature, as the blizzard unleashed its fury across the Northeast, blanketing neighborhoods, cities, and countrysides in a thick, icy shroud. Highways that once bustled with traffic became ghostly corridors, while airports, usually alive with the hum of travelers, fell eerily silent, their runways buried beneath feet of snow. Winds roared through city streets, rattling windows and bending trees, as snow fell at a staggering rate of several inches per hour. Visibility dropped to nothing, making even the shortest journey perilous. Major cities ground to a halt. Businesses shuttered, public transit stopped, and emergency alerts echoed through empty streets. National Guard units rolled in, braving the elements to help those in need and keep order. By Monday morning, the world outside was unrecognizable. Cars vanished beneath towering drifts, streets disappeared under a seamless white blanket, and doorways were barricaded by walls of snow. The sheer power of the storm was breathtaking, a force that humbled even the most prepared. It was a true equalizer, reminding everyone, regardless of status or circumstance, of nature's overwhelming dominance. As the blizzard finally moved on, it left behind a landscape both beautiful and daunting. Snow draped every rooftop and tree, transforming the city into a winter wonderland, but also presenting immense challenges for recovery. The air was crisp and biting, and the usual city sounds were replaced by a profound, almost magical quiet. The world seemed to pause, wrapped in a blanket of silence and snow. For millions, the day began, not with the rush of a morning commute, but with the shared challenge of digging out. Neighbors helping neighbors, families working together, and communities coming alive in the face of adversity. This was more than just a snowstorm. It was an event that would be talked about for generations. A blizzard for the ages, remembered in stories, photographs, and the collective memory of all who lived through it. The numbers after the blizzard were staggering. In just a matter of hours, entire cities were transformed into winter fortresses, their streets and rooftops buried beneath a thick, relentless blanket of snow. Residents woke up to a world that looked almost unrecognizable, with familiar landmarks hidden under drifts that reached as high as doorways, and cars completely entombed. Providence, Rhode Island, shattered its record with nearly 38 inches of snow, burying the city for days. Neighborhoods became isolated, with snow piled higher than windows and front doors blocked by icy barricades. For many, simply stepping outside became a challenge, as people dug tunnels just to reach the street. New York City recorded 20 inches in Central Park, grinding the city to a halt and emptying its streets. The city that never sleeps was suddenly silent, its usual hustle and bustle replaced by the muffled quiet of falling snow. Subways slowed, taxis vanished, and even the busiest avenues were deserted except for the occasional snowplow. Boston faced 17 inches, with fierce winds creating towering drifts and testing the city's snow crews. The blizzard's howling gusts scalded the snow into surreal shapes, making cleanup efforts even more difficult. Crews worked around the clock, battling both the elements and exhaustion. Across the region, local records fell, and cleanup became a monumental task. Streets disappeared beneath mountains of snow, and residents banded together to help one another dig out. For days, the sound of shovels scraping and snowblowers roaring echoed through neighborhoods. Weather experts marveled at the storm's intensity, a perfect mix of jet stream dip, Atlantic moisture, and a rapidly intensifying low. Meteorologists tracked the system as it exploded in strength, warning that this was no ordinary winter storm, but a rare event with the power to rewrite the record books. Dr. Elena Vance, climatologist, called it a snowmaking machine that parked itself off the coast. She explained that the storm's unique position allowed it to draw in moisture and cold air for hours, dumping relentless snow over the same areas and amplifying its impact. The storm's impact was historic, redefining what a northeast blizzard could be. Streets, parks, and even iconic landmarks vanished beneath the snow, creating scenes that will be remembered for generations. The sheer scale of the snowfall left many in awe. Cities would be digging out and talking about this storm for years. The blizzard of the century left a mark not just on the landscape, but on the memories of everyone who lived through it, a reminder of nature's incredible power and unpredictability. As dawn broke, the Northeast mobilized for a massive dig-out. Residents, bundled up, tackled snowdrifts blocking doors and driveways, while neighbors helped each other clear paths. Thousands of sanitation workers launched into action, focusing first on emergency routes. Plows created towering snowbanks, making intersections hazardous and parking impossible. Utility crews worked tirelessly to restore power, battling downed lines and frozen equipment. Progress was slow. The sheer volume of snow left cities scrambling for places to dump it. Snow farms and even ocean dumping became necessary in some towns. The cleanup was a multi-day, all-hands effort, a vivid reminder of how even the best-prepared region can be brought to its knees. The fight to reclaim the streets was on, and winter was not giving up easily. For millions across the Northeast, life shrank to the size of their homes, as the world outside was transformed into a frozen landscape. Streets that once bustled with activity became silent, blanketed in white, and the familiar routines of daily life were put on hold. The snowstorm didn't just change the scenery, it changed the rhythm of life itself. Parents found themselves juggling remote work, household chores, and restless kids, all under one roof. With schools closed and playgrounds buried, backyards became winter playgrounds, echoing with laughter as children built snow forts and launched snowball fights. For a moment, the world felt smaller, but also closer. At first, the snow brought a sense of magic, steaming mugs of hot chocolate, family movie nights, and snowmen taking shape in the yard. The novelty of being snowbound offered a rare pause, a chance to slow down and savor simple joys. But as the days stretched on, cabin fever crept in, and the walls seemed to close in a little more each day. Yet even as isolation set in, community spirit shone through. Neighbors checked on the elderly, making sure they had food and warmth. Teenagers volunteered to shovel walkways for free, braving the cold to help those who couldn't manage on their own. In the face of adversity, kindness became a lifeline. Essential workers faced immense challenges. Nurses and doctors walked miles through snowdrifts, determined to reach hospitals and care for patients. Their dedication was unwavering, even as the storm made every step a struggle. Grocery store staff became unsung heroes, working long hours to keep shelves stocked and helping anxious customers find what they needed. Their efforts kept communities going, even when roads were impassable and supplies ran low. The economic impact was immediate and severe. Businesses closed their doors, revenue vanished overnight, and uncertainty loomed large for owners and employees alike. Small business owners watched bills pile up, wondering how long they could hold on. The weight of responsibility pressed down, as they worried about their staff, their families, and their futures. "A storm like this can really set you back," said Tom Valerio, a New York cafe owner, as he shoveled snow from his storefront. For many, the blizzard was more than an inconvenience. It was a threat to their livelihoods. The blizzard exposed the fragility of daily life and the economy, revealing just how quickly everything can change when nature takes over. But it also revealed the resilience and kindness of communities. People delivered groceries to neighbors, pushed stranded cars out of snowbanks, and shared what little they had with those in need. For some, the forced pause was a rare opportunity to reconnect with loved ones. Board games replaced busy schedules, and quiet mornings became moments to cherish. For others, it was a test of endurance, a struggle against loneliness, anxiety, and the relentless cold. The storm magnified both the comforts and the challenges of home. The hardships were real: power outages, food shortages, and uncertainty about when the snow would end. But so were the moments of solidarity, as volunteers braved the elements to deliver food and supplies to those in need. Across the Northeast, people found creative ways to help each other, organizing online check-ins, sharing resources, and clearing driveways together, one shovelful at a time. The blizzard became a shared story, one of challenge but also of hope. In the midst of hardship, laughter and friendship endured, and new memories were made in the snow. As the snow lingered, so did the sense of community. A reminder that even in the coldest, darkest days, people can come together and find warmth in each other. Just as cleanup began, forecasters warned of more snow, a fast-moving clipper system arriving Wednesday. Though lighter than the blizzard, it was a blow to exhausted residents and city crews. The new snow added another inch or two, undoing hard-won progress and hiding dangerous ice. "It's demoralizing," said a Boston sanitation worker. "You clear a street, and it's covered again." Social media filled with groans instead of snow photos. The novelty had worn off. The second storm was a nagging reminder that winter wasn't done yet. Residents longed for normalcy, but the return to routine was delayed again. The Northeast braced for more, weary but determined. The second storm's timing was brutal, just as commuters tried to return to work. Fresh snow hid black ice, turning cleared highways into slick traps and stretching commutes into hours. Public transit, still recovering, faced new delays as crews scrambled to clear tracks and roads. Buses squeezed through narrowed streets, and minor accidents multiplied. "I thought the worst was over," said David Chen, after a 3-hour drive from New Jersey to Manhattan. The follow-up snow, more than the blizzard itself, left people feeling trapped and frustrated. The dream of normalcy faded as winter's grip tightened, the region's vast transit network struggled, and patience wore thin. Winter, it seemed, was not ready to let go. As if 2 storms weren't enough, meteorologists tracked a third system for Thursday and Friday. Anxiety spiked, but hope emerged as forecasts shifted. The storm would bring rain, not snow, to the northeast. Fox Weather's Britta Merwin called it more of a rain story than a snow story. The main impact would hit the mid-Atlantic, sparing hard-hit New England cities. Relief spread as the threat of another major snowstorm faded. Cleanup could continue without interruption, and weary crews could finally make progress. The focus shifted south, where cities like Washington, D.C. braced for a wintry mix. By Thursday, the forecast was firm. The Northeast would be spared. For millions, it was the first real sign that the worst was over. The path to recovery was finally clear. The late February storm sent seasonal snowfall totals soaring across the Northeast. Boston ended up nearly 10 inches above average, and Providence shattered its all-time record. New York City's totals climbed, ensuring the winter would be remembered as one of the snowiest. These numbers weren't just trivia, they meant higher costs for snow removal and strained city budgets. Weather experts noted a new pattern: long quiet spells punctuated by massive high-impact storms. Cities need to be prepared for the extreme, not just the average, one meteorologist warned. The winter of 2026 became a case study in how a single week can redefine a season. The snowbanks lining streets were a daily reminder of nature's power. For city planners and residents alike, the lesson was clear: expect the unexpected. The story of February 2026 is about more than snow totals. It's about resilience. The Northeast faced down a historic blizzard, a follow-up storm, and the threat of a third, emerging weary but undeterred. Quiet heroism was everywhere. Plow drivers, utility crews, nurses, and neighbors helping neighbors. Shared hardship forged a sense of unity and community spirit. As the sun returned and snowbanks shrank, normal life slowly resumed. The storms left an indelible mark, a story of challenge, adaptation, and strength. Lessons were learned, and the region is better prepared for the next big one. In the Northeast, when the snow falls, people pick up their shovels and get to work.